This is Randy.
And this is Melanie.
And we are here to talk about Community, Season 6, Episode 9, Grifting 101. This episode is pretty straightforward. There is a new teacher at the school teaching a class. Can you guess what it is?
Could it be Grifting 101?
It could be. It is. You know, surprisingly enough, he grifts the group. Mm-hmm. And they're angry. And they want revenge. They want to grift him back. And that is what this episode is about.
Guess who they ask to grift the grifter?
Jeff?
Of course!
The lawyer? The former lawyer?
I personally wouldn't have gone with the term grifting just because I don't think people are as familiar with it as they are with other terms. Like conning or swindling or, you know, a variety of other names you could use.
Well, that was kind of the joke of the episode. The one joke of the episode was that it was grifting. And it had all these old-time Western transitions and stuff like that, because grifting is like, it's an older term, you know. Like snake oil salesmen from back in the day. They were grifters. And so the group is like excited because they're looking for their blow-off course, which I enjoyed because I liked the episodes when they were all actually students, when they're like, what's the blow-off class we're going to take? And it was always something ridiculous, ladders or...
They thought pottery, I think.
Yeah, pottery. So it was fun to get that kind of moment where they're all like, grifting, grifting, and they're excited. And then Jeff, you know, who can't take the class anyway because he's a teacher, is like, you guys are going to get grifted. You know, what are you thinking? And
so they all had to take the class just to spite him and be like... No, we're going to learn how to grift, and then you'll be sorry.
Yeah.
And then that next day...
Yeah, they're upset because...
Because they had to buy a $150 regulation briefcase.
Regulation grifting briefcase.
Right. To pass back and forth for 40 minutes.
Yeah. So, in general, what did you think of this episode?
I kind of liked some of the interaction. I didn't really care for Jeff's whole thing, but I kind of liked some of the interaction with, I want to say Annie and Abed. Even after they had already decided this class was just... there to rip them off, they're still practicing. They're like, it's homework.
Yeah, they're practicing trading, handing these briefcases back and forth. Yeah, I was amused by that. All in all, it was a weird episode.
Yeah.
Which it is not unlike Community to do a weird episode that doesn't. It just feels like this bizarre out there episode, because that's what Community does.
It felt way too much like the Prisoner iPod episode to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a new element and it's, you know, whatever, and then there's like a nemesis for Jeff, and
oh yeah.
You know,
here's this gimmick that's made its way into the school or, you know, into the group somehow. It becomes a nemesis for Jeff, and then that's how we deal with it. Yeah, I could see that totally.
Yeah.
This episode had a couple parts that made me laugh.
So there were a few moments for a few of the characters that were good, but overall the episode was not.
I didn't really like the episode that much.
Right.
I understood what it was doing, because it even like calls itself out at one point when they're talking about the sting, where they're like, you know, who's being grifted? Is the main character being grifted? Is the movie being grifted? Is the audience being grifted? Like, what's going on here? I don't understand it. And the episode kind of plays out a little bit that way. It almost seems like there's some bad acting going on, but I think that's because there's some intentionally bad acting going on.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that too. And it's happened in other episodes, I want to say also, I could be wrong, but where particularly Britta, they have Britta acting and doing a horrible job of it, but you know, probably on purpose.
Yeah, because she's Britta.
Right.
And if Britta had to act, she would Britta it. And you had mentioned something about like the cheering, the grifted, or whatever.
Yeah.
It did seem like there was a lot of like attempted energy in this episode that felt forced.
Even besides that weird, like, unnecessary group chanting that it makes no sense. At the very beginning of the episode, I recall mentioning to you, Britta just had something to say, and I'm like, okay, she delivered that, and she was supposed to have been excited, but you can tell the actress didn't give a crap and barely put any effort into it.
Maybe it was just an off day,
Maybe.
but I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, it was a rough episode, I think. It was just not one of my favorites. And it tried to be out. I mean, it was an out there episode. And normally those episodes are great. I just didn't think it worked here. And like I said, the grifting, the act of grifting, the word grift was the punchline of this episode over and over again. It's a roller coaster of a season.
Yeah.
Ups and downs. And this is a down swoop after a couple of not so bad episodes.
I'm gonna say, even if in the end I end up saying overall that this was not a good season, all it does is make me want them to make another season and make it better.
Yeah. Anything else?
Yeah. I think that everyone watching this video should like and subscribe. And
I think that's a great idea. But you should also visit grolixpodcast.com for comic book stuff, our podcast episodes, in which we are joined by Jesse. So you don't just have to hear our voices all the time. And we have guests on. And new comic book releases, reviews of other things that are awesome. All that jazz.
all that and more.
We're not here to grift you. You're not going to get grifted.
No.
Grifting, grifting, grifting.
Baby, don't make me kill you.
That's extreme.
Oh, baby, don't make me kick you in places that you don't want me to.
Cops are going to hear this.
Cops don't listen to our show.
Any cops out there? You should like this video and subscribe. Help me.
No. Sorry.